So looking at that same example that we had before with the 200 students and 124 said yes, it prepared them. Construct a 95% confidence interval for the percent of all satisfied students. Now they're asking us to express the answer within 3 decimal places, or with 3 decimal places for our answer. So we want a 95% confidence interval for the mean. The sample size is 200, and our sample proportion, 124 over 200, is 0.62. Now in StatCrunch, we're going to use the proportion statistic. So we're going to do stat and proportion stats right below t-stat, one sample with summary. The next screen we get is going to ask us for 2 things: the number of successes and the number of observations. The number of observations is the same thing as the sample size. The number of successes is the top of that p-hat calculation, or it's the number of people that said yes to our survey. Okay, so it'll be 124, because remember we said p-hat was 124 over 200. So this is our x, and this is our number of success, and this is our n, which is our sample size. It's just a different way to say the same 2 numbers. Then you pick the confidence level just like before and put it as a decimal. All right, I'll save that picture for you. So the output looks almost the same, except it's talking about a proportion. So it tells us again the upper and the lower limit, which is what we're looking for. It also reminds you of what you put in for x and for n. So in case you type something in wrong, you can always check one more time that you put the right numbers there. It also tells you your p-hat, so you don't have to calculate it yourself, of 0.62. Well, we won't be using the standard error of the mean, or of the proportion. Okay, and then the sentences, we are 95% confident that the population percentage who were satisfied is between 0.553 and 0.687. So now how to find the sample size for the proportion is the last part. So a researcher asks what sample size is needed if she wishes to have a 95% confidence interval for the proportion within 3 percentage points if a prior estimate is given as 0.37 or if no prior estimate is available. So what is meant by that prior estimate? The prior estimate is just an old survey that was done. So these are some old results. They could also be just results for a different group of people. Sometimes what they do is they go out and do a small survey and get a prior result that they can use for a larger survey. And it tells them how big a sample they're going to really need. So now we're going to do it twice, once with the prior estimate and once without. So again, you're going to do stat and proportion. So it's the same for both of these. One sample and choose not this one with sample size. I don't know why I circled the wrong one. With sample size. And you're given 4 things again. You're given the confidence level. And now when you're given the target proportion, there's no ask for the standard deviation, just a target proportion. And that target proportion is your prior estimate. Okay, so that's the important one to remember. Target proportion is the prior estimate, which in this case was 0.37. And then the width, you want to remember to change the width percent into a decimal and then double it. Okay, so they gave us within 3%. So we're going to double that to 6%. And then we're going to write it as a decimal 0.06. And then when you click, you get 995. So the difference from doing the mean is this target proportion part. Okay.
Are we going to be able to do the classwork together, or are we doing it all separate?
Sure, if you want to do it together, you can. With the proportion with no prior estimate, then you're going to use 0.5. And the reason you use 0.5 is because it's the worst possible percentage you can use is 0.5. So it's going to give you the highest sample size you need. So use 0.5 if there's no prior estimate. Everything else is the same. We put in 0.06 and we got 1,068. In this case, it's really close because 0.5 and 0.53 are almost the same. So it comes out just a little bit higher. Any questions? Good.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. How did you get to that part of StatCrunch?
I'll go back.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let me just get rid of these words because they're going to be in our way. Okay. You're going to use stat proportion stats.
Yeah.
One sample power or with sample size.
Power and sample size.
Not power and sample size. Use with sample size. Power is wrong.
Oh, okay.
Use with. I'm going to just